Hello everyone, this is gardenfever coming to you from northern Utah, and this is Garden Fever. I wanted to do kind of an introductory video discussing kind of the philosophy I've come across, or my philosophy on gardening, and what I've learned. And I want to share it with everyone, so I want to start making YouTube videos maybe to help out the rookie gardener a little bit, and so they can learn what I learned a little bit faster. So let me start off by telling you that my mom grew up in Nebraska on a farm, and so I had a great deal of influence from her when it comes to gardening and the rewards and what can come from that. I didn't really become addicted though to gardening until, I've always had a passion, but I didn't really become addicted until I bought my first home and I had my own yard. And then I became addicted. I realized I loved it. So I scoured the earth, went to the library, read lots of books, read tons of, web pages and YouTube videos, or watched a bunch of YouTube videos. And I was a little bit discouraged in the beginning, not because the information I received was wrong or anything, but because it was so complex, or it seemed to be. And what I've found throughout the years is that it's not really that complex. It's just that people, when giving information, want to give the most optimal information, and they consider it the right way to do it or the wrong way. I don't really believe there's a right or wrong. It's kind of like making music as an analogy. There's things that yield better results than others. So that being said, I'm going to kind of break up my videos, or at least the way I give advice and whatnot. I'm going to break it up into kind of 3 categories, and that's the rookie gardener, the intermediate or the moderate gardener, and then the expert gardener or the avid gardener. And those tend to be the ones that have a lot of time. How your garden is going to be and what you can do is going to be based off of several things, and that's the money, of course, time, and the amount of passion you have for it. Not everybody is into it as others, in the world we live in, it can be very busy, especially if you live in the inner city. If you live on the outskirts, you might have a slower paced lifestyle where you have more time for your garden, but if you're an urban gardener like I am, and a family man, there's just not a whole lot of time. I can't spend every day out in the garden making sure that I do every optimal thing or apex thing to every plant to yield the most maximum results. And I find that, like I said, not that there's a right or wrong, but when you scour the internet, you'll see the most optimal information. They'll talk a lot about the nutrients in the ground, how to fertilize it, and they'll even break it down, like the zones you live in, they'll break it down to compounds that are in the soil, and it's intimidating. Every plant has its own kind of lifestyle and way of living, if you will, and so I was all intimidated, thinking that it's a science in order to have a garden. Well, it's not. I've seen some of the laziest gardeners just buy a start, plant it in the ground, water it, and they produce fruit at the end of the year, and vegetables. But if they gave it a little bit more time and energy and money, if you will, they probably would get a better result. So there's really no right or wrong. It really boils down to how much you want to put forth towards it. And so, as my general advice to the beginner gardener is to start small. As a rule of thumb for me, I started out with 1 plant per person in the household. So if there's 4 or 5 people, I would plant 4 or 5 tomato plants, 4 or 5 peppers, 4 or 5 heads of lettuce, that kind of stuff. And then as I got better and I actually got to know the plant over time, I was able to become more of a moderate gardener, and I could do more for the plants, and I could yield better fruits and more of it, So start small, and don't get discouraged. You will make mistakes. There will be blunders, and that's okay. Obviously, the more time, energy, money you throw at your garden, the better it's going to be. If you want, award-winning plants and looks like the Garden of Eden kind of thing, you're going to need to put some energy into it. And don't get me wrong, there's some secrets. There's some unknown facts. There's some ways around things. And I find that some of the most ingenious and saving ideas tend to come from the ones that don't have a lot of time and don't have a lot of money, but they still have a strong passion for gardening, and they come up with ways, they figure out ways to yield greater results with less energy. And we'll discuss that over time. So my advice is start small. Three things as a beginner, the three things you mainly need to know is water, soil, and sun. And it helps to know kind of what zone you live in, which means what plants kind of grow in your area. But I don't put a whole lot of energy in that, because all the stores and the nurseries that you're going to go to are going to have the plants that are conducive to the area you live in. So if they're selling it in your area, most likely you can grow it. So that being said, we'll end the video for now, but I look forward to you guys in the future. This is Garden Fever.